Hi, all my gorgeous children of Jesus. I hope that you're all doing well and everything today. For tonight's bedtime story, I'm going to read you a couple of stories about spiders. A story about spiders. And here it goes. It was the month of October in the English countryside, and it was starting to get cold. Frost each morning. It was colourful with the leaves now changing into different colours. Yet the sun rays still gave off a little warmth during the day, and the sun shone across the river, leaving trail of a sunlight hovering over the waters. The little squirrels gathered nuts for winter. Hedgehogs buried under the leaves. Mice ran through the fields as usual. All creatures were getting busy to prepare for the cold winter ahead when they would hibernate. A spider made her thread from one tree to another, swinging all the way across the river. Whee! She screamed. Spinderella as she sprang across the river and hit the other tree climbing onto it. Oh, this is so much fun, she says. Some naughty boys were passing by the river, way to school, and grabbed Spinderella by the legs. Help! Shouted Cinderella as they chased some little girls with her. They were scared out their wits and screamed hysterically, running off. The naughty boys laughed and put Spinderella back on the tree bark she landed on. Spinderella excitement changed to discouragement. Why is every human being so scared of me? What did I ever do to them? She pondered. Itsy realised what Spinderella was thinking, and he sat beside her. Spinderella cried, Look, even that ugly creature below thinks I'm so ugly that he can't even look at me. Look, he has its head over its eyes, and it seems unimpressed by my presence. And he does that each time and every day he sees me. Itsy comforted her. That creature is not alive. It's just the statue of a gargoyle. But how would you know? Asked Spinderella. I have been around, explained Itsy. But I also need to give you some more advice, explained Itsy. Oh yeah, what is that then? Asked Spinderella. Instead of swinging low across the river where children can snatch you, you need to make a proper web up in the trees so you can catch insects when you're hungry and be away from humans who may catch you. In the wrong hands, you could be squished. Really? Humans hate us that much? She asked. No, not all, but a few might. I don't want to build a web through its hard and boring work. I prefer to have fun, hints at Spinderella. Well, you may well enjoy flying from tree to tree by a thread, but that is not going to feed you, snapped Itsy. Also, I don't have the energy to climb all the way up to the top of the tree, and besides, we are easy prey for birds. Itsy insisted. Come on, I will help you to the top. We can find a loose bark on the tree to hide under and use our camouflage for protection. Hesitantly, Spinderella followed Itsy up the tree, but complained all the way up. Itsy hissed. At least we don't live in a house. Humans are humongously large. Many spiders run inside houses this season, but guess what? Hardly any come out alive. Because the little girl could be afraid of us, and her dad will end up squishing him or her. At least we ain't dead. Spinderella just tossed up all of her 8 eyes like this, but Itsy ignored and then carried up to the top. At last, after all the grumbling and complaining, the 2 spiders' friends reached the top. Itsy straight away got hard to work, but Spinderella just sat watching on. He very patiently and cleverly wove together piece by piece of his silky thread, swinging from one tiny body, from twig to twig, all sticky and all silky. It took him hours to make, but he persevered, and his web was truly a piece of fine art. What a wonderful web, declared Spinderella. Please can I live in it with you? But no, explained Itsy. Each spider is responsible for making its own web. With that, Spinderella walked off in a sulk. Come over here, demanded Itsy. Look how all the creatures of the wood are preparing for the winter hibernation. They are busy. There's no time to be lazy. But Spinderella would not listen. Itsy, on the other hand, managed to catch flies and store them away for winter. The weather plummeted and the snow had fallen. By that time, poor Spinderella was very cold and hungry. She had no web and no flies to feed herself. Under the pressure, she tried to build herself a web, but it was even harder work to do in the winter, and she just gave up every time. But now she was getting really desperate and knew that if she didn't eat, she would starve and die. Spinderella cried out, Itsy, I am so sorry for not listening to you and for being impatient back in the autumn, but I need to eat. Please help me to build my own web. But Itsy replied, It's no use, most insects died in the cold. Then what shall I do? Asked Spinderella. Itsy replied, I will share what I have with you, but once spring comes, you have got to make your own web. And Spinderella agreed. Both Itsy and Spinderella had got through winter together, and spring had come at last. Itsy was very proud of Spinderella. New change to attitude. She was no longer lazy, but she learnt her lesson, but became busy and patient, building herself the most biggest and beautiful web than any other spider living in the woods did. She did, however, have fun from time to time too, and bungees jumped down the tree using her own silky thread. The same group of children she met that past autumn she met again in spring, and the little girls were no longer afraid of Spinderella. This time all the children commented how cool she was. With that, Spinderella climbed happily back up in the tree, singing to herself, I am cool. They like me. From that day on, the 2 friends, Spinderella and Itsy, enjoyed living side by side in their own built webs. So they each had a web each, and they both lived side by side as best friends. Proverbs 19:50 says, Laziness casts one into a deep sleep, and an idle person will suffer from hunger. So it's important that we always do our best at school, and it's important that we always listen to our teachers, and it's important as we get older that we work hard so that we can do our work for the glory of God and for the needs of others. And thank you all for listening. I hope you really enjoyed that story. God bless you, and bye for now.